Sure, let's pray. Dear God, thanks for the opportunity to join tonight as a group, Lord. Thank you for the beautiful weather we've been experiencing and the heat of July. God, we thank you, Lord, for the rain that's been coming our way, and Lord, we just thank you for the season that we're in. Thank you for allowing Liberty Day to be a success for all the people that worked it and put it on, and just the people that attended it, Lord. Just thank you for that opportunity for the city. And God, I ask you, Lord, be with the meeting tonight as we go through the meeting. Let the things be discussed be for the benefit of those here and those who live within our community. And always, Lord, we thank you for the people that protect it and make our city go on a day-to-day basis. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Let's stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'll put the agenda up. You can be reviewing that, and while you do that, I'll ask the clerk to call the roll.
Councilmember Little.
Here.
Mizell. Here. Rustin.
Here.
King. Phillips. Here. Mayor Mitchell.
Here. Okay, give you a few more seconds to look at the agenda. Fairly standard agenda. Got some rather mundane but essential resolutions that we need to take up tonight, so we'll do that. Okay, so we'll move on. First item on the agenda, as always, is the consent agenda, which is the approval of the minutes of the last regular council meeting on June the 17th. City Council has a copy of the minutes in front of them. They've had an opportunity to review those. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes? Okay, if not, let the record show the minutes are approved as written. And we'll start with our department reports. I didn't realize the chief's not here tonight. So really nothing has changed here. I did notice, and basically nothing's changed as far as the recruiting and retention project that's going on. I did notice in some of the shops that there are some cards that the recruiting and retention coordinators put out seeking folks for letting folks know that there's opportunities at the volunteer fire department as far as positions are concerned. And I think one of the most important things that I want everybody to share with whoever you know is the fact that we do have $10,000 tuition assistance for new recruits. So you can use that for trade, technical school. You can use it for community college, 4-year institution, whatever you want. There's a little payback. You know, there's going to be a hook in there saying that if you take the scholarship, you got to give us a little bit of your time before you run off and go someplace else. But I think that's a good deal, and it's a great incentive. So
You said 10 at $10,000?
I meant
Is that what you said?
I meant $4,000. That's what I said, but it's $4,000. I apologize.
So 10 at 4,000. Okay.
I misspoke. Thank you for catching that.
Wow.
All right. Any questions? Any other questions or corrections? All right. Thanks. Library, is Jennifer not
She
here?
is not here today.
Okay. Has any? we're 0 for 2 here. So I don't know much about this other than so I can just read it. She had 1,670 visitors in the month of May. Provided about 53,000 worth of services down for the year. You know, it's my recollection from her other reports that we've been consistently down this year, and I'm kind of curious what that is. I can talk to her about that. This is the last week of summer reading. Hard to believe. It seems like it just started. They have a Safe House session tomorrow, which will be the last one about building healthy relationships. Their last movie night is Thursday night at 5:15. And August the 1st, as kids get ready to go back to school, will be the adult reading program. Each time you check out 3 books, your name gets put in for a drawing. I don't know what's going on here as far as that's concerned.
And also on that, our next library board meeting is August the 26th at 4:30.
Okay.
They're doing the cookies, cops and cookies or something
Yeah,
like that?
cops and cookies start tomorrow.
Okay.
Very good. Is that on there?
Let's see,
Okay. What, is there a time frame for that, or is that pretty much all day? 10 to 11? Okay. Just need to know, so I wouldn't get there before they're all gone.
Who'd you say?
Megan Thomas, meteorologist from Fox Six.
Okay, we'll move on to the environmental services. Dale is here.
There hasn't been a whole lot changed. Plant's still on track as far as the rehab. They should pour the last bit of concrete Wednesday or Thursday on that side. So looking forward to all that getting finished up. Then they're supposed to start getting some of the equipment in August, like the bar screen and stuff like that, some of the larger items. So all that's still on track.
So that first one's gonna get completely done and then before they start on the other. So they can put it into service.
Done. We'll transfer everything from the one that's in operation now to this one. We'll operate it and start on the other one.
So, of course, I think it was our last meeting when we authorized to go ahead, or it might have been the meeting before last, with the SRF loan for the $4.5 million. We've still got a little over 5.1 left. I've been, and we anticipate SRF being available there, but looking at other options, and there is a firm that has, I've spoken to two, or actually three, but one of them is just a regular bank loan, but two who can offer and underwrite municipal bonds. And they both have some good proposals to make, and one of them was wanting to do it this week. I asked him to put it off. I think I have seen his initial proposal and his presentation, and he wants to get before the council. So I think what I'll do is try to schedule a work session the third, I guess it would be the fourth week of this month. It would be the week after our next council meeting. And that way you guys would have an opportunity to hear what he has to say and ask questions. I think it's pretty interesting. It's worth considering. Okay, anything else, Dale?
That's all I have.
Community Affairs and Senior Services. So I'm briefing this too, huh? Okay. All right, so basically Sunset Music and Market, we are done with those. And so we're now, and you'll see it on the announcements, we've got two more July and the 11th and the 18th. Liberty Day went very well. I've got a little something to say on the mayor's report, so I'll skip over that. The Pace, this is what I was going to talk about, so I'll just say it. The Pacer AI showed 37,000 for Friday and Saturday visitors to Columbiana. So that's significantly higher than any other estimates that we've had before. Pacer AI uses a combination of cell phones, GPS, data, and there's some other algorithms that's built into the software to come up with those numbers. But so it was about 1/3, 2/3, 1/3 Friday night, 2/3 on Saturday. So it was a good turnout, and I think that's really good. And the interesting thing is the vast majority of those visitors were not from Columbiana. Obviously, we don't have 37,000 people in Columbiana, so it speaks to itself. So good. The patio on the senior center is complete. Looks nice. They're still going to be working on some doors that they're refinishing there. There's a senior breakfast this Friday. Drug court graduation is in the Grand Hall, and then the Sutton reunion on the 12th, and then Central Alabama Wellness Back to School Bash on the 19th. So a lot of stuff going on in Grand Hall this time of year. Hopefully there's no questions, because I can't tell you much more than what I read. So, okay. Board reports. We mentioned Planning Commission appointments. Johnny, I'm having a brain bubble.
Paget.
Johnny Paget, sorry. He had his term is expiring, and he has gonna reappoint Johnny to the Planning Commission. Amy Dixon has resigned, and I am still seeking a candidate for her position. I'm not sure if she's gonna be at your next meeting, or if she's, wiped her hands of it, or if she's giving you a little bit of a notice, if you will. But hopefully by the next meeting, we can get that position filled. What about anything else going on at the Planning Commission?
We meet Thursday night.
Thursday night? Okay. Any other boards? Okay. All right, so, okay, now there's a presentation here. Do you want me to put that thing up? Okay. Now, I got this little cosmic clicker here so that you can advance the slides yourself, if you'll come up here and get it. Forward, backward, and the pointer won't work on that screen. So. Give it just a minute here. And let me get it full screen before you start talking and clicking. Okay.
So,
Maybe you need to get a little closer. It's right click, the right click arrow. Let me see if I turned it on. No, I was saving my battery. But it was nice to watch you. There you go.
okay, so here is an introduction to disc golf, because based on your voice, I don't think you really know what it is. So it's a sport where you throw like modified frisbees into a basket, and that's kind of what a disc golf basket looks like. And we actually have three different types of discs. So you have a driver, which you can see has like a sharpened rim, so that way it can like pierce the air better and you can throw it farther. We have a mid-range for like kind of like approach shots, it'd be like a pitching wedge in golf, and then you have a putter, which obviously. So yeah, it's like, it's not very complicated to get into. And then the scoring is identical to regular golf. Instead of a hole in one, it's an ace. And then you have, it can go like above bogey, obviously. So it can go like double bogey, triple bogey. That's actually us playing at a course. It's called Inverness. It's up in Hoover. So the reason for being here is because we would like to build a disc golf course in Columbiana. And so some of the things that disc golf provides is accessible recreation. So it's really easy to get into, and it's also very like cheap. Those discs that I have, I think they don't get much more than $20, and you can play with one disc. So it's very, and like you can carry a disc, or once you get more, you can get a bag, and the bags range from anywhere from like 40, and like obviously there's gonna be an expensive one, but that you don't have to get that. And then also health and wellness, it promotes an active lifestyle. So you're gonna be walking up and down hills. You're going to be using your body to throw, and then it also, especially in our case, it will provide environmental benefits, because where we want to put it, it would help us upkeep the trail, and it'll help us just like make it a lot healthier of like a forest area. So some other courses in the area, I actually forgot to delete the parentheses, so please just ignore those. I was supposed to like remember those, but I just forgot to do it. So Clanton, it's Peach Park. It's down there by the high school baseball fields. And the reason I want to bring that one up is because we see people walking around that park all the time. So that's a way to, like, an example of promoting active, like, well-being. And then Calera, it's at Oliver Park. So it actually goes around the high school. And kind of like how because we want to put ours in the cross-country trail by the elementary school, and that's an example of a course that actually goes around the school. And then Double Creek, not much to say about Double Creek, it's kind of like an odd course. And then we have Montevallo. It does a great job of taking advantage of existing space, because it actually just goes like around their campus area, like it goes around their property. And then Hoover, which is Inverness, it's wooded just like ours is going to be. And so whenever we bring disc golf to Columbiana, like I said, we're going to use the nature trail. Some of the pros are it takes advantage of space and it promotes the use of the trail. Because I feel like a lot of people, they don't actually know that that trail is there. Like they don't, and it's not very used often, because ever since the cross country team. started using Harmon Park. I don't know, it just doesn't get used, and I haven't been back there, so I haven't seen if it's been upkept, but I'm assuming it hasn't been. And another thing is that it is located near other activity areas. So it's near the pickleball courts, it's near the 500 Club, it's near that park. And the thing about the park is that it's really easy to get into, so kids will be attracted to the easiness of the sport. And then it's very cheap and easy to get started. And then the cons would be there's no direct profits, it's around the elementary school and the initial cost. And I'll get to the cost later. But then something, no, I'll get to that in a minute. Okay. So, how to make this possible? We played, me and my dad and these two, we've played a bunch of courses around like Alabama. I think we're what, at like 21 now? 24 courses we played? 27, sorry. And we've actually been out to the trail and we've sat flags down in some of the spots that we think that we could like put a tee pad and throw from. And so in order to make that happen, we would need at least one basket per hole, and I have two different options here. And obviously you don't have to like pick these specific ones, but we have, so there are these portable baskets and they're great for like a yard or something, and they're a lot cheaper. But the thing is that there's this thing called a basket conversion kit. So it will take those portable baskets and it will turn them into one of the permanent ones, so you can lock it down so nobody can take it. So it has a pipe and it has a lock on it to wherever you can slide dynamic disc baskets, and they're like $500. They are expensive. But the $200 or like $250 portable basket is a great option. And you can always, like, if the course is doing really well, you can always like expand. Like, it doesn't have to be like the nicest course right off the bat. And so concrete tee pads, we believe that because of the area, because we're gonna be in the trail in like a damp environment with like pine straw and stuff, that a concrete tee pad would be the best, so that way there's no injuries. Like, turf can get really slick, and gravel will also be very slick. And so concrete, 4 feet by 6 feet by 6 inch. That 6 feet gives you plenty of running room to be able to throw a good shot. And then signage on every hole. So we have to have the hole number, the basket location, and then what kind of par it is, like par 3, par 4, the distance, and then like if there's any mandatory. So like mandatory would be like there's a tree and it has an arrow to the left of it, you have to throw to the left of that tree or else you take a penalty strip. And then we have out of bounds. So if you threw it like in water or something, like how that's out of bounds, it's the same thing, but it doesn't have to be in water. And then so we saw this at a course down in, what course was that? You know? Anyways, it was a course that had like sponsorships for it had sponsored like ships of businesses in the town on each hole and tee pad. And so that's something that we could do here, because one thing about disc golf is that it's growing very rapidly. Like, there's a 76%, I'm not just pulling out these numbers, I actually like did research, but there's a 76% increase in participation over the last 5 years. That it's kind of like the app that everybody uses. And in 2021, there was 170,000 rounds recorded in Alabama in 2021, and then now in 2024, there was, what did I just do?
It's probably the internet.
Oh, I just ruined it, I'm so sorry.
Where were you? I'll get you
I
back
can get
there.
I can just get back.
I'll get you back to where you were. A little quicker, probably. Were you past that one?
I
Yeah,
was,
Okay.
So, and now in 2024, there was over 20 million rounds recorded. So there's a ginormous jump from 170,000 to 20 million rounds recorded. And that's not saying.
They would have to. We
Yeah,
only
so
have a little over
it's
5
not
million
just-
people.
It's not just, but then the same thing is that not all rounds have to be recorded. Like it can be such a serious sport, but such an unserious sport at the same time. Because you can either like track it, or you could just go out there for fun. And that's like, that's why it's so like largely like played. And so we can have like hole sponsors on each hole to promote Main Street businesses for whenever people, because like obviously if they're gonna be playing in the afternoons, it's gonna be hot and they're gonna want to go get a drink or something, so that way they don't get overheated. So that will benefit the Columbiana businesses. And then in the future, like I said, it's very easy to upgrade the course. And so some of the goals that if the course really takes off is to add 2 basket placements on each hole. It's just to kind of change up the course. And then we want to grow a disc golf community in Columbiana. And then we also would like to host a tournament on the course, because that's one way that you can make money and put it back, is to host a tournament. And thank you all for letting me be up here and talk to you.
You guys have any questions for Alex?
How hard is the disc to stick in the cage there?
It's not very hard. It just depends when affects it a lot more than anything. But it grabs pretty good. It depends on where you hit it. Because if you hit it on the right side, it can kick that way. If you hit it on the left side, it's hard to putt.
It has to stay in?
Yes, sir.
Gosh, that'd be a problem. And it would definitely be, not serious for me, because if you're counting strokes, I'd say it look the other way sometimes.
You can play with me.
Well, Alex, I appreciate you coming, and I'm glad that you're here. So I do think a couple things. So when we started that cross-country trail a few years back, it was basically a tri-agreement between us, the county, and the board. And unfortunately, to your point, if I walked out there now, I seem like you, it's probably not been upkept very well. So, but I would love to see that area used, because obviously that's the perfect. It's got hills and valleys, and because I think that's the only place in town that could probably do something like that. But I do think, well, I mentioned that because I think that, to your point, there's a lot of people playing disc golf, and it's a really expensive type of sport to invest in. It's not like you got to put lights and turf and well, other than that. But I think you're onto something there. So I think I think this will be beneficial to not so much. There's a lot of adults playing it, but I think there'll be a lot of kids around that area too. You're going from the 500 Club, going from the school, and I'm thinking of the elementary school that could probably participate in something like that. But I think if we could get something in that area, it would at least upkeep that type of deal, So that I would support it. Now let me ask you this: would it be, if you started it tomorrow, would you be willing to do like a 9-hole versus 18? Is it big enough for 18 out there?
Yes, sir.
It is.
Big enough. We've been out there and mapped it, and we actually had more than enough room.
Okay.
We had to take off a hole because we actually had 19 holes. And there's also another spot that we could add a hole outside of it. And another thing to circle back to the whole upkeeping the trail, so there's a lot of dead trees out there.
Mm-hmm.
And we would obviously have to take that
Yeah.
then out just because of safety concerns, because we don't want them falling on people. But a way that we could reuse that wood is so like the long skinny trees, we could use them, because it's like kind of, the disc golf course is going to follow that path,
Right.
the trail. So, and the tee pads will be kind of off in the woods, off the path. And so we could get those trees and use them as like trail markers, just to kind of like reuse the wood instead of just having to throw it all out. And it would just kind of mark where you're supposed to go. They do it at Double Creek, and it looks really good.
So just looking at your numbers, I know you don't have a number for concrete, and Jeff, you may can figure this up. This would be less, this would probably what, $12,000 investment collectively with the I'm doing that based on the good baskets and the concrete.
If you go good baskets, T-signs, you can get those 18-hole course for $8,000. And then you put I'd say $10,000 for the concrete bags.
So $12,000 to $15,000 in your plan for an 18-hole. Okay. Well, this is just me speaking out loud. Alex, I think you're on to something, and I not know what the rest of the crew up here thinks, but I don't think they would be against it, and they can surely share their thoughts. But I think the next step would be, I mentioned to you, about it was a 3-pronged approach to develop that area up there, so to speak. So I think it may be worth to bring those 3 parties back to the table to see if we can go about getting some of that stuff rejuvenated up there. Because I think there's really no cost other than cleaning it up and maintaining it. The cost is really going to come from the baskets and all that stuff. So I don't know, that's my thoughts, what everybody else think, you know, I don't wanna just keep speaking on behalf of.
I met with Dr. Thornborough, who's the new principal of the high school yesterday, and I brought up the cross-country course to him and the maintenance of it. We redid that agreement where we made it clear as to what the responsibilities were for maintenance. And we put a requirement in there that said every quarter that our public works director and the athletic director would walk through the course and determine what needs to be done. And I told him, I said, I don't think it's happening. And I said, I think it's on both ends, and we need to sort of revitalize that. So yeah, to both of your points, that needs to be fixed up. Now, you know, having been out there, I guess it depends upon the time of year and how much growth is there. I mean, I can't keep a golf ball in the fairway. I have no idea how to keep a Frisbee in the fairway in those woods, but still, it'd be interesting. And also, most golf courses have a 19th hole, but it serves a different purpose than what you had in mind. So, but yeah, I think it's worth looking into, and if we can light a fire under folks and get them excited about it, that'd only be good. It would be good for the you know, starting up this disc golf, but it'd also be good for the cross-country team, because I think they, to your point, have gone out to Harmon Park because it was the path of least resistance for them. So,
Is there clear
plus
line,
there's a big old hill that's hard to run up out there. So,
is there a clear line of sight on areas that you've laid out the courses? I mean,
Yes, so you're never like throwing around the bend.
okay.
So you're always throwing, and none of the tee pads are in like way of where shots will be going, unless it's just like a really bad shot. So like a basket would be over here, and the tee pad's over here, tucked behind a bunch of trees.
Yeah.
So it's probably like 150 feet in between basket to tee pad.
Yeah.
In spots.
Is
So
that
you
the
do-
short one? Is that the
It's
shorter?
That's not the whole length. The average whole length there, I think they're averaging like 220. And then we have like a par 4 and a par 5 at the very end.
Mm.
But it's a beginner friendly for like a good bit of it. But then like there was some space left, so we made it. It's still not gonna be like a hard, like very hard par 5 or a par 4 and par 5. But I think that's probably up to 400 feet. But that's not like, I've been playing for a while and I can throw a disc 380 feet. But obviously beginners aren't gonna be able to do that. So there's holes that like will more fit beginners, but there's also holes like, it's kind of like, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah. Okay.
all right. Any other questions? That was a great presentation. Thank you.
We'll follow up with you, Alex. And so before you sit down, you got some people with you. You need to make sure you recognize those people before.
Stan Hutton, my emotional support.
Okay.
Clayton Nelson, also comedic relief is what he uses.
That's right.
And my parents are here.
All right.
Do
Thanks
they
for
have-
being
Do
here.
they have names? Come on now.
Allison Fleming, and Jeff Fleming.
There you
All
go.
right.
Well, thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it. Good job, Alex.
All right. All right, moving on. So we have elections coming up, and on the council, we have 3 positions that are unopposed. So there's some legal stuff that has to be done when you have folks who are running for municipal office unopposed. And it's section 1146, 26 of the Code of Alabama. It provides that if only one person has filed a statement of candidacy, i.e. they're unopposed, or has been nominated for an office for an election to be held pursuant to sections 1146.20 through 1146.73, at the time of the deadline for qualification is passed, then such person shall, for all purposes, be deemed elected to such office. Okay? And the mayor shall not cause the name of such person or the office for which this candidacy was declared to be printed on the ballot. So if you're running unopposed, it doesn't get printed on the ballot, but he shall, or she, shall file a written statement to the governing body of the municipality attested by the clerk, certifying the fact that only one person filed a statement of candidacy or was nominated for the office preceding the deadline set for an election for municipal officers of the municipality and setting forth the name of such person. So, we have 3 resolutions on the agenda. The positions that are unopposed are Councilwoman Mizell, Councilman Rustin, and Councilwoman King, who is not here tonight. Her mother is in the hospital. And so, and then what I'll do is sign this statement of candidacy, and Charlene will attest to it. That says, this is to certify that only one person filed a statement of candidacy for the office of Council Member Ward Number 2, which is Councilwoman Mizell, by 5:00 p.m. on the 4th Tuesday in June, preceding the 26th day of August election, blah, blah, blah. Same thing for number 3, which is Councilman Rustin. Only one person filed a statement of candidacy. And then also for position number 4, it's Ward number 4, excuse me, it's Councilwoman King. Only she was the only one that filed the residency. So I'm not going to read all the whereases and whatnot, but there are 3 resolutions. One is 72501, 02, and 03. And I think unless there's an exception, we can pass all of them with one vote. So are there any questions before we move on to that? Is there a resolution to adopt all 3, or is there a motion, excuse me, to adopt all 3 resolutions, 725, 1, 2, and 3 for these wards 2, 3, and 4 that are being elected without opposition?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, it says motioned and seconded, so the resolution is passed, and we will sign these letters. They have to be posted for how long? Until the election? Or?
I have to, record them with probate.
Oh, record them in probate. Okay, but then they do have to be posted, don't they? They do not? Okay, very good. All right, so those resolutions have passed. Oh, there was another one.
Yeah.
Did I pass it up?
No, it's after the discussion for some reason.
All right, well, we'll go to it. So let's do this one. This is the resolution appointing poll officials. Let me get to that one. This is something that we do, again, every election. And generally, I think most of these folks have done it before. And so here we are. And you can see them right there. So Section 114627 of the Code of Alabama as amended provides in part that the municipal governing body, not less than 15 days before holding any municipal election, shall appoint from the qualified electors of the municipality officers to hold the election as follows. Where voting machines are used, at least 1 inspector and 3 clerks. So Chief Inspector is Tom Moore. We have Daniel Hallmark as an inspector. Clerk Denise, the registration clerk is Denise Clark. The poll list clerk is Christy Nolan. Ballot clerk Cecilia Woods. Assistant clerk Pat Ponder. Assistant clerk Teresa Fulmore. And assistant clerk Vicki Stone. What's the training?
So it's mandatory that they have poll worker training to work the polls, but then you also get paid.
For taking the training.
For taking the training.
So it's 50 to each one of them. Okay. All right. So, any questions about the resolution for the appointment of poll officials? Will someone introduce the resolution?
I'd like to enter, resolution 072504, appointment of poll officials.
A second.
Okay. So all in favor say aye. Opposed, no? I don't think we voted on the last one, did we? So let's go back. So on the, it was introduced and seconded, but I failed to conduct the vote, so all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, this resolution passed. I apologize for that. Got ahead of myself here. All right, so any other city business anybody like to bring up? Okay. Mayor's report, so I wanted to talk about Liberty Day and 30,000 plus visitors. I think we had a good concert. We had a little bit of rain and lightning, but we had a good concert on Friday night. We had a good concert on Saturday, good fireworks show. Miss Emily Ann Roberts seemed to be pretty popular. She stuck around while Easton Corbin was performing and took photographs and autographs and sold a lot of stuff. As I mentioned, I met with the new principal today. Also, Joel Dixon was with us, was actually yesterday that I met with him. Dr. Thornborough was previously, most recently, assistant principal at Chelsea Middle School. And we talked about what his goals are for Shelby County High School and how the city and the high school can collaborate. I talked to him about some of the programs that and how we were already supporting the high school, and also I brought up the discussion about the cross-country track as well. So I'm looking forward to working with Dr. Thornborough. I think he's going to be a good principal for the high school. Have you guys met him yet?
I met him Liberty Day. Met him and his family. Very nice guy.
Yep.
Obviously, he lives in Chelsea, but they're very familiar with Columbiana. So I think he's really happy to be here. Very nice family. So
Okay.
really good.
I pretty much already mentioned the sewer financing, so we'll skip over that. Should have done this probably before we kicked off the campaign season, but I need to mention about the ordinance for political signs because there's been a few issues out there, and I just think that those of us who are running for office and putting up signs, it's not a good look if we're going to be an official of this city and we're not complying with our own ordinance. So the basic ones in residential areas, basically the yard signs that you see all along, those signs are a maximum of 6 square feet. In non-residential areas, you can put a larger sign up to a maximum of 16 square feet, 4 by 4. You can have one sign per candidate per parcel. So, you could have a dozen signs in your front yard, but they can't be all for the same person. They all would have to be for different candidates. They have to be outside the public right-of-way, which is a challenge, and that's where there had been some issues. And as a general rule, you can use the utility poles as a definition of where the right-of-way is. And some of our roads, particularly those that are county roads and state highways that are further out, where the poles are right off it, there's a ditch. So if you put a sign there, you pretty much have to put it in the ditch. But anyway, I think you can work and find some places there. Window signs. You can put signs inside store windows. You can't put them on a public sidewalk like in downtown because that's part of the right-of-way. But you can put as many signs as you want in there, but you cannot cover more than 30% of the window area, and those signs could be as big as 15 square feet, which is, a 3 by 5, so it's a pretty good size font sign, but can't cover more than 30% of the window. And then portable signs, that's signs on wheels, signs in the back of a pickup truck, those are one of the prohibited signs that you can't post. So that's pretty much the sign stuff, and hopefully, I haven't seen, but maybe 1 or 2 minor issues with that. And I know candidates sometimes will give their signs to their supporters and ask them to go put them out, and the supporters aren't necessarily aware of what the rules are. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. The last 2, Charlene, they weren't on the list, I don't think, that we had because it wasn't political signs. Is that correct? Am I
Yeah.
confused on that?
Those are not on, no, those last 2 are not on the
It's
last
for
first.
signs, but not political.
They're general signs, but
They're
you
general
can
signs,
you
but
can
not
put
political
any
signs.
kind of sign in the windows, or and then the portable signs. Any kind is prohibited. There's one exception, and that's if you start a business, you can get a permit for a portable sign for not to exceed 60 days.
Can you get me a copy copy of that, Charlene, when you get a chance tomorrow? It's showing of the list, the whole list.
The whole sign ordinance. Mhm.
Okay. Announcements, Sunset Music Market on July the 11th, Dakota McClurg and the Double Barrel Band. Same thing on July the 18th, Lee Allen Carter. And then the Community Pep Rally on Music on Main on August the 15th. So, questions? Comments from anyone?
Oh,
I think the presentation was probably one of the best presentations I've seen.
Yeah, no. By the way, one of the things I talked to Dr. Thornborough about was, and I tried it in 2022 and did some work on preparing a charter and everything, and I thought it was going to happen, and it just kind of fizzled out, and that's to have a youth council just for the high school kids. But Dr. Thornborough seemed to think it was a good idea, so maybe we'll be doing that again and getting some of those good presentations from the kids here in the city council. Any other questions, comments?
I have lots of pictures and videos and stuff of just golf courses and they play them. If you just wanna look at them like after the meeting, just to kind of, like, you can picture what a course might look like. if
Sure.
You wanna see some examples. Share them.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments, questions? Okay. If not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.